Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Lucas and welcome back to the show. Today, I want to talk about some basketball, right? Some mid-season talk about basketball, and my first topic is the Utah Jazz. I think that's a good topic to start out with, and kind of in a lesser note, the Suns, because they have been very good recently and they've shot up to second in the West. I don't have much to say on the Suns because I don't know too much about them, but you look at that team and everyone thought they were going to be good, especially after the bubble last year, but they have shocked a lot of people. But again, I don't really have much insight to say into them, but overall, I really like the team. But I want to talk about the Utah Jazz because I was sitting in bed one night and I was thinking about this, and they draw so many similarities with the 2015 Atlanta Hawks that it blows my mind, right? They're a team that everyone knew was good at the beginning of the year. They had very good players in Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, kind of like the Hawks. They had Jeff Teague, Al Horford, and Paul Millsap. And everyone knew they were going to be a big team in the East, just like everyone knew, the Jazz were going to be a very good team in the West. But then the season started, and the Atlanta Hawks just went on insane runs and ended up with the first seed in the East, just like the Utah Jazz are trying to get in the West after going on an insane, 21-game win streak or something, or winning 20 out of 21 or 21 out of 22 or something like that. It was insane. But the similarities don't stop there, right? Now, obviously, the season is over, so they could still lose the first seed. They could still end up losing a lot of things, and it may not end up being the same. But if it were to go in the same trajectory, they're looking to be very similar. First off, we'll look at the All-Star teams. The Hawks had 4 All-Stars that year. They had Jeff Teague, Paul Millsap, Al Horford, and they also had Kyle Korver. You can kind of cut out Kyle Korver because I still don't know why he was an All-Star that year, but he was. And he was a top shooter in the league, don't get me wrong. All-Star, though, I don't know. But either way, he was. And so they had 4 All-Stars. You look at the Utah Jazz, they had 3 this year. They had Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, and Donovan Mitchell. Very similar in that stance. Another stance to look at is that Hawks team didn't have a superstar. They had a lot of really good players, but they didn't really have a superstar. They were just really good, really deep, and really well coached. You look at the Jazz, it's kind of the same thing. You have Donovan Mitchell, who may be on his way and is very close, but he's not to a superstar yet. He's not on the level of, I don't want to say LeBron and KD, because those two are just mega stars, right? But he's not on the level of James Harden or Kawhi Leonard yet, right? He's not on that level. He's not on a Luka level yet, even though Luka's team has not been very good. Although never mind, don't listen to me. They've been really good recently. Don't listen to me. Mavericks have been good recently. Throw that out the window. Either way. They also have Rudy Gobert, and they have Mike Conley. They also have Bojan, Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson. Even Georges Niang has started to show up and be very good. I think they got Derek Favors back this year. They've been a really good team, obviously. Sorry, but they have a really good and deep team, just like the Hawks did. And then if you look into the future, right? The Jazz are trying to hold on for that first seed. Let's say they do. Just like the Hawks, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost to the LeBron James-led Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, if the Jazz hold on to that number 1 seed and get to the conference finals, if the Lakers are able to hold on to that 3rd seed or move into the 2nd seed, you're looking at playing the Lakers in the conference finals. A LeBron James-led Lakers. Making it all the way there and losing to a LeBron James-led team, just like the Hawks. And in my opinion, just like I predicted when the season started, I think that's going to happen. I think they're going to do the same thing that the Hawks did, right? Get that number 1 seed, play LeBron James in the conference finals, push him to his limits, and lose. And unfortunately, that's just the plight of small market teams, right? You just don't have that superstar. Unless you get that superstar, sorry, I should say. It's the plight of not having a big superstar, right? No one thinks that they're going to beat the Lakers. Just like no one really thought that the Hawks were going to beat the Cavs. And it's the same exact thing, right, with the Jazz. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to see the Jazz make the championship. Prove me wrong. Win a championship this year. I would love to see it. I love the Jazz. I love Donovan Mitchell. There's a jersey hanging up right over there. I just don't think it's going to happen. Next team I want to look at just real quick. The Rockets, I did not realize this, have lost 18 games in a row. And they lost 17 straight games without Christian Wood. I didn't see that. That is insane. And that is just a crazy stat to look at. Overall, though, the West is it makes a lot of sense, right? You're looking at teams at the top you kind of expected. The Spurs are doing a little bit better than people expected. Obviously, the Jazz and the Suns maybe, but overall, it's not looking too crazy. In the East, man, have I been wrong so far. I mean, you got the Sixers at the top, which all the power to them. I mean, great job by Doc Rivers. You know, he did a great job with that team. They've done a great job. They proved me wrong so far. Good for them. Nets at 2 makes sense because of KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. Bucks at 3, I thought they would be better in the regular season. They still might, you know, get that 1 or 2 seed, but still what they see. The Hornets are at 5. The Celtics are down at 7, and the Knicks are at 8. But the team I want to talk about real quick are the Pacers. Because as you know, I put them at 4, and or 3 maybe, I don't remember, but I really believed in that team, and I still do. I still believe in that core. But they have been really struggling recently. Now, obviously, when you trade away Vic and you get a player that you end up not actually getting, it kind of makes sense. But that's not the part I'm worried about. They still have Brogdon and Sabonis, who are both all-star level talents. Obviously, Sabonis got in. Brogdon has played at an all-star level this year. I'm not sure if he should have gotten in. There were just a lot of really good all-stars this year, but you have Miles Turner, who's playing at a Defensive Player of the Year level, even if people don't want to recognize that. You still have a very solid bench, but there's one key problem, and it's a big problem. It's the defense. It's one thing you never had to worry about with a Nate McMillan-led team. Now, I would love to say that this is just a road bump with a rookie coach, and I personally believe that it is. But it's something that needs to get fixed, right? Because that's the big problem with this team. People have yet to recognize how important Miles Turner is to the Pacers defense. Because when he is on the court, they are a good defense. They're not a great defense by any means. That perimeter defense is still very shaky. But he takes away an easy drive to the paint. When he is out, they are a horrendous defense. Like, if they had traded Miles Turner this offseason and got Gordon Hayward, they would be looking at giving up 150 points per game. If they were to trade Miles Turner now, which I can't see happening in a million years because of how important he's been to the team this year, they would be giving up over 140 points a game. I swear on it. And I'm not kidding. Because when you look at the game against the Nuggets, right? When he came off the court, Nuggets went on a 21-0 run and then a 14-0 run. Both times when he left the court. That's not coincidence. Now, on the offensive end, maybe, but on the defensive end, that is not coincidence. Right? Miles Turner is so important to that team. And I've seen trade rumors, people asking to see his availability. He's not getting traded. Here's why. I'm not saying he won't get traded because they won't trade him. I'm saying he won't get traded because they won't take nothing for him. They know his value to the team. And so they're going to ask for the moon, as they should. They know his value, even if other teams don't. And that's the thing. I don't think other teams know his value. So they're going to offer less than what they think he's worth, but the Pacers aren't going to take less than what he's worth. So Miles Turner, I don't see getting traded, and if he does, the Pacers are going to get a favorable package. People are going to be blown away and be like, why did this team give up so much for Miles Turner? But the Pacers will understand, and obviously the other team that traded him, how important he is. I don't know what they need, but you're looking at it, you go either a hard push for you go for a push to the playoffs, or do you try to get a good lottery pick? It's starting to lean towards that lottery pick. Maybe you even get lucky. I know the Pacers, they probably won't. Maybe you get lucky. You luck into Cade or anyone from that draft, honestly. Not anyone, but someone, a high pick, a top 3 or 4 pick. Right now, it's scary. Obviously, I think if they teach Warren to be a different story. I think they would be buyers. Maybe they get a good bench center. I thought, you would think Goga, who's done fine at times, would be that, but he hasn't been. So the Pacers are a tough team, but I think also another thing to look at, I think, is losing Dan Burke hurt a lot more than what people thought. Dan Burke, the assistant coach, is a defensive wizard. And you help that with McMillan. I mean, it shows. It shows this year on what Dan Burke did for this team, for that team. And when I heard the news, I instantly knew that was going to be an issue. I didn't think it'd be this big of an issue, but I knew it was going to be an issue. And it hurts because that's where the defense went, right? That's where the defense went. Moreover, let's talk about the Knicks. The Knicks have been great. Julius Randle's been great. A lot of potential on that team. I've actually liked to watch their games. I haven't been able to watch a lot of basketball with everything going with school and stuff like that. But when I do, and a Knicks game is on, it's always fun to watch, right? The Hornets, like I said, some of the stuff I didn't even know. The Hornets are at 5 right now with the 2 games above 500. The Celtics dealing with their own injury problems. All I know is right now they would love to have Miles Turner. I think if they get Miles Turner, they're a top 3 or 4 team in the East right now. I'm just saying he's that important. Either way, that's all I really had for this episode. But like I said, I just wanted to talk about those teams and try to kind of just get my thoughts out there. Like I said, right now my favorites right now are the Lakers and Nets, I think, as everybody is. You look at someone like the Sixers and the Jazz and the Suns, you just don't think they can get over that hump. You just don't think they can get over that because they don't have KD or LeBron. I mean, Joel Embiid's been great, and honestly, if there's a team to beat the Nets, I think it's the Sixers. I think Joel Embiid would be the key, but they're so good. I mean, you have 3 superstars. You have 3 superstars. And it's not like they're not deep now. So it'll be interesting to see because there are the Sixers, the Suns, and the Jazz up there that could make a push. You still got the Bucks. Like, any one of those teams making a push and beating the Nets or the Lakers would be really interesting and actually keep NBA fans watching. But like I said, that's really all I had for this episode. I just wanted to talk a little bit. I went on a little bit more of a rant on the Pacers than I expected. But I just wanted to get my thoughts out there as being a Pacers fan and kind of keeping up with it. It's been hurtful. It's been painful. But I don't think the coach is the problem. Like I said, when they brought him in and they lost Dan Burke, I remember saying they needed to bring in a defensive assistant coach. They needed to bring in a defensive assistant coach because Bjorken has a great offensive mind, right? He is a great offensive mind. But I was worried because I knew how important Dan Burke was to that defensive unit. When he left, I was like, okay, you need to bring in someone defensive. I guess they didn't because obviously it's shown. But either way, it's a rough season, but I don't know. That's really all I had for this. Like I said, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.